Every stupid decision that you've ever made, every breakup, every bad investment, every job you quit too soon, it wasn't random. You weren't in control. You were being pulled like a puppet by 6 invisible needs. And until you notice them, they're going to keep running your life. Here's the problem. Certainty feels safe, but it's a padded prison cell, and too much of it, your soul will start rotting in comfort. So let's break down these 6 needs and how you can conquer them. Number 1 is certainty. We all want stability, that paycheck arriving, the house still standing, and the people we love there. But when certainty hardens, life turns into something like Groundhog Day. Think about the movie Fight Club. Those men weren't fighting each other. They were fighting the deadness of routine. And we're all in some way desperate for chaos, for risk, for something that matters. Certainty is necessary. But when it hardens, it becomes a prison itself. And like Prometheus chained to the rock, the difference with our lives is that most people don't even realize the punishment is of their own doing. We forged the chains ourselves. Number 2 is variety. Some men blow up their whole lives just to feel alive again. I'll never forget the day I left behind 7 figures in revenue with my business for a one-way trip to Cairo in Egypt. Everyone thought I'd lost my mind, but I wasn't chasing money, I was chasing variety. When life is the same commute, the same meetings, and the same routines, you start to suffocate. Variety is the antidote to certainty, and we all need surprise, challenge, and adventure in our lives. But too much variety and your life spirals into chaos. Too little and you're going to wither into safety. The art of life is walking that fine tightrope, and it's balancing stability with that thrill of the unknown. Number 3 is significance. Every human craves significance to stand out. We all want to feel unique, and history gives us plenty of examples, but one of the most infamous ones is Nero, the infamous Nero. He wasn't in Rome when the fire started in AD 64, but when he returned, he seized the chance to rebuild Rome in his own image. He imposed codes, constructing his extravagant golden house that's become infamous today. And whether he started it or not, the perception stuck that he fiddled when Rome burned. He became the man who let his city burn for his own significance. And that's the truth of this need. If we can't gain significance through creation, through building, then we're going to get it through perception, or in some cases, even destruction. Number 4 is love and intimacy. At our core, human beings are wired for connection. We want romantic love, friendship, family, and a tribe. But real love can feel dangerous. It makes us vulnerable. So most people settle for safer substitutes, likes on a screen instead of eye contact, group chats instead of true belongings. And the ancients knew this. In the Greek myth, Orpheus descended into the underworld to rescue Eurydice. And Hades gave him one condition: don't look back until the light. But he was consumed by doubt, and he turned, and then she vanished forever. That's love. It's the risk of the ultimate loss in our life. Yet without that risk, we starve ourselves of the very thing that we were made for itself. Now, these are the 4 needs of the psyche, and most people get stuck there. We're all spinning the wheels between safety, variety, significance, and connection. And in most cases, they never realize that they're trapped. But there are 2 higher needs on top of these. And unlike the first 4, they don't just feed your personality, they feed your soul. So let's cover those right now. Number 5 is growth. Everything in nature is either growing or decaying. And the moment you stop learning, stretching, pushing your limits, well, then some part of you begins to rot inside. Growth can be as simple as learning a skill. It could be facing a fear or expanding your worldview by travel. The great Winston Churchill said, "To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often." He reinvented himself from a soldier, a writer, a politician, a wartime leader, and then that evolution prepared him when the entire world collapsed. That's growth. You don't know which version of yourself the future will demand. But if you've stopped evolving, when that moment comes, then you're going to have nothing to give. Number 6, and the final one, is contribution. When you die, the only thing that people will measure is what you gave. This is the highest need in human psychology. When you give without expecting anything back, you tap into something beyond ego. Contribution is what makes life meaningful. Gandhi said that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others, and he lived it. He led not through wealth or force, but through sacrifice and service. When you die, no one remembers what you owned. They remember what you gave and how you serve. Every day you're making 3 invisible decisions. The first is what to notice. Think of one man in a storm. He could feel only the rain, but another guy in the same storm notices the lightning, the power. Even though they're having the same storm, they have a different experience. So number 2 is what to believe. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times. Failure could have meant I'm done. But instead, he chose to believe that he was closer to success. And the third is what to commit to. Caesar knew this when he crossed the Rubicon. By burning retreat, he forced forward. Commitment turns hesitation into inevitability. And those 3 decisions shape how you respond when life shifts beneath your feet. And that's why adaptability, not strength, not resources or power, is the ultimate advantage. Here's why adaptability beats resources every single time. Most people think survival belongs to the strongest or the richest. And we see so many examples of that in our society. But what if I told you that's completely false? And Darwin proved it. The survivors are the most adaptable. And adaptability is resourcefulness in motion. When you bend with the storm, you find new doors when all the old ones slam shut. So control your state, stay fluid. Even giant skyscrapers, structural engineers, they make them sway in South Korea and other places. They bend with the storm. In the end, history belongs not to the strongest, but to the fastest adapters. And here's the key. Your adaptability isn't random. It's shaped by which need is steering your life. If certainty rules you, you're going to freeze when the ground shifts. But if significance dominates, you're going to risk love just to feel important. Your needs are a web, and every strand pulling on your beliefs, habits, and emotions, that's going to make the difference. Clarity changes everything. The moment you see your hierarchy, you can shift it. Decide today that growth and contribution, not fear, not ego, sit at the top. In that instant, your choices and your future change. So here's your challenge tonight or today, wherever you're watching this all over the world, write down the one need that's been running your life. It could be certainty, significance, connection, or whatever it is. Then ask yourself, if I flip that need tomorrow, how would every decision change? Do this once and you'll never see yourself or anyone else the same way again. Everyone you meet is being pulled by these same 6 invisible strings. That boss who lashes out at you, maybe he's starved for significance, or that friend who flakes, they might be addicted to variety, or the partner who clings, she could be shackled by certainty. When you see their needs instead of just their actions, your judgment turns into clarity, and clarity is the root of real influence, power, and change. So study your needs, study others, then act. Because the moment you master your needs, you stop living by default and you start living by design. And that's when life stops being predictable and starts becoming legendary. If this message resonated with you, destroy that subscribe button right now and join the #1 most aspirational community on YouTube. And you can watch my last video by clicking right here, and I'll see all of you guys in the trenches.